school lunch program. I don't know if you guys have done that already, because that's where people go for food shares, and I think that's what's called that.
Sounds good.
We
may have, Nikki's been pretty proactive, but I'll make sure to follow them around.
But just so they, I think that's a good idea, just so they know that there's always food available to kids
Correct.
in Mayville all summer long, because Orcon's doing this, but they're only doing it the 17 days of their summer school.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea, because that's where the food share program
Yeah.
is, and that way they can reach out to whoever might need those types of things in
Yep.
order to get more folks. I again think, John, I hope we could put on the agenda, and I don't know if everyone else would agree, I think it's time to take a look at the Curriculum and Instruction Committee. I've asked this before. I really think we don't need it. The more I've done research on it, the more I realize more school districts are parting away with it. I think that is up to the staff, school district administrator to deal with curriculum, maybe set the strategic planning type thing. And I think it should go on to an agenda, because that's
The
not.
timing of that's pretty good, actually. We met with, just, thank you for bringing up the curriculum. Because it's actually curriculum and instruction and technology. And Sue has some pretty heavy-duty purchases that she needs to do. She typically runs those by the curriculum and instruction and technology committee. So that was on my to-do list for tonight, to say, hey, we need to schedule a meeting for that. So one, we do need to schedule a meeting for that, because we have a committee as of right now. And then John, you're in charge of the responses to that.
Well, I'm just saying, I hope we could actually talk about it, and I can show some stuff, and see if we could add that to the agenda, because I just don't think that a board is, should be responsible for instruction. Last thing, do we really need a negotiations committee? Can we not just run it through personnel from now on? Because I've never heard of a negotiations committee on school boards as well. So
Here,
that's
let's just
another thing.
I'll just share something with you, okay?
Yes.
This is my learning coming here,
Yep.
okay? So I said, John, we need a personnel committee meeting. The difference is the personnel committee here is the committee of the whole.
Committee of the whole, I think that you should have just a personnel committee, and then you would bring that instead of a negotiations, and then we call it that.
So you're just really changing a name.
Well, we get rid of the negotiations committee, have a personnel committee, or if you want to make it of the whole, that's completely fine. Either way, then from there it just gets submitted. I think negotiations committee,
It-
something else I'd like
I
to
think
see.
we
Well,
have
that-
been called the personnel committee.
Yeah.
We haven't.
I call
There's
it the
supposed to be a
personnel
personnel
committee.
committee. There's supposed to be a finance committee, and I've never heard of a finance committee as a whole either. I mean, unless you need to bring it because it's a bigger issue or something. Usually finance committees can be smaller things. I'm just thinking of just my research of school districts, their makeup and stuff like that. And I'm talking boards.
So the negotiations committee actually operates like the personnel committee. That really is it. So I actually had Janet type up a personnel committee meeting, right? And found out later it was actually negotiations, so in my time. So to me, it's just changing the title. So then you would just drop off if that's,
Fine.
you know, okay? And then, as far as finance goes, I mean, I have been in school districts where they did have a finance.
Years ago, we used to have
Yeah,
a
smaller
the
finance.
finance.
You know, but the reality, the good news is the whole thing comes.
Well,
here.
yeah, no, that's.
But that could be something that you decide to do. So, changing the name is semantics, that's a technical edit, I can do that, no problem. But as far as the finance committee, that'd be something for you to talk about.
Sure.
And,
Discuss it, you know. Curriculum and instruction. I think you should add it on, can provide some data, aspect of stuff as well.
Okay, so you want to set up a meeting that you, for your,
Yeah, we need a negotiations meeting, and we need I'll do those in an email.
okay.
Okay, so for both of those, so we're ready, I think we're ready to look at all the support staff wages and recommendations there. We may be able to do just, I think we're actually ready to do it all. Here's state of the state. It's the second year of the biennial budget, which comes with stability. The only thing is we don't know open enrollment. So there's not lots of buffer nowadays, right? So we'll just bring it up to the now the personnel committee stay the state on everything, and then start getting ready to make moves on contracts and stuff. So, like, ideally, the people behind all their contracts they rolled over, right? Well, on July 1, they're already rolled over. They were rolled over this winter. So, but if we don't make changes in any wages and stuff, then it's back pay for the district office. So if you have stability in your budget, you can say, hey, I feel very comfortable recommending this. Because the sooner you can get that stuff done, the better. So like teacher wages, if we can get them done in advance, great. But they're the largest group, that's the biggest pot of funds in the school district. But if we could get that done before the beginning of the school year, you wouldn't have back pay for everything. We know the state for the budget, we know everything, we don't know enrollment. You don't know until they show up at the beginning of the school year. So that's why things are always, well, since I've been here, it's October for stuff. So, but in a year like this, the second year of annual budget, you do have more stability, you do have more that you can project. Open enrollment being open as long as it is now though, that just, we'll see what happens. But on June 29th, we're supposed to get confirmation of that. So I think we'll just start bringing everything we have collected up to this point, share it with the personnel committee, and we'll take their recommendation on some next steps then. Okay?
Question. I've got parents coming to me and asking me about personalized learning.
Okay?
Do we have any statistics or anything that shows that it's working or that it's, I mean, they're pulling their kids out of school and moving them to other schools, and they're upset. They talk to me, I don't know what to say.
One of the things is, can you please have them come talk to me?
Yeah.
I would love that, because honestly, they really have not. Like, nobody, well, I do know one family met with me. They had already made that choice earlier, but there's no one who's saying, hey, I'm gonna make a change in my student's life and where they go to school, and that's happening. They have not spoke to me after the fact.
I've had people come to me too as well.
So I would say when it comes to personalized learning, they are completing research today, but I think the convoluted part of it is I think everybody's definition of what personalized learning is just so different. So what is it? What is the research that we're actually doing? Like right now, we're working with the UW system to be part of a research, a formal research initiative to say, hey, how are we doing? What is working well? What isn't? And I mean, we need to be wide open. So if we're doing something and it's not working well, then we need to be right there with them saying, okay, well the whole goal, just so you know, is to keep all families, to engage students, to bring it to another level, not to have them leave us. That's not what we're trying to do.
And I don't know, I think the class that my one daughter had, where they had combined two different grades, I think that was part of the personalized learning, was it not? But that daughter that was in that class was smarter in math. She was behind the other one after that year was through. The other one that was not as good was smarter than her and advanced way ahead of her and helped her out. So something happened there, and it shouldn't have. That kind of bugged me a little bit. So that's why I'm asking. That was another issue I had with that. And
Well, a lot of things they're doing, so like today we shared, there's a dollar amount for the middle school, and that specifically, we did knock some walls out, and we're actually putting, it's about, we've learned, it's about flexibility, and we do want teachers to be able to pair together, but we also want them to say, no, they can work in isolation at times too. So we're actually putting walls back in, but they're flexible, versus that right there is one little door and you can't see through it. So we're listening and we're responding to the teachers and to the students.
And at that time, when that daughter was in a classroom where it was open and they were separate grades, but they were together, she was afraid to ask for a desk because they didn't have desks in her room. So she said, Dad, I feel out of place. Finally it happened, and she wanted to have her structure because there was really no structure for her. So, I think that personally, it's important to keep that structure in the classroom so these kids do have their own space and they can concentrate, I don't know.
we want the feedback, and I think that every parent absolutely owes it to their child to go in and talk to the teachers and make sure that we're meeting their child's need.
And after she got a desk, more girls got this, they had a group of desks. So, you know,
Yeah.
it shows you that they wanted it.
And it also shows you that we listened.
Okay, well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It was difficult at first, because the teacher said, well, we can find a spot here, we can maybe find a spot here. But I think when they had more girls wanting it, they decided that, hey, maybe we need, I don't know what they did, move stuff out to make room. I don't know what they did, but, okay.
Well, one of the things that I would say that I hope that our staff feel like there are safety nets for them to make decisions and to not be perfect every single time. Kids aren't guinea pigs, right? Like this,
Right.
this is not some experiment, absolutely
They
not.
wanna learn.
But we are not going to be perfect along the way, so we're trying to transform education. We know that, that we're looking for our kids to be more engaged in the sit and get that was back 20 years ago. And when we make these changes, it may not be perfect the whole entire time. And the best thing that we can do is to have our parents be open, our students to be open with us. And I think that we all owe it to ourselves to stay out of the place of nostalgia. Where back 25, 30, 40 years ago when I went to school, and you didn't say anything like that, by the way. But I, like nostalgia world, like, well, this worked for me. Like, they're not us. This is a new group of kids here, you know? So, as I mentioned, I took a class on how to use an iPad. They don't need a class, just give them the iPad. They'll figure it out. You know, so a lot of this is, we were learning alongside with the kids throughout this, and their feedback and their input is really important. And we have processed some of the feedback just in the last year, and we're making some changes in our practice to reflect that. So it's a journey, absolutely. I think we're in a really great state as far as leadership goes in this world of personalized learning. You know, we've talked, and we're gonna personalize the learning experience because it's the right thing to do for kids. But I don't think we're gonna go out and say, well, we do personalized learning. You don't do anything like that. Like when I taught in the classroom, I did not go into my families and say, I do direct instruction. Want to talk kids? That wasn't even a topic of discussion. So in reflection, where did we get to this place? We do personalized learning. You don't do, you teach.
Why are we calling it that?
Yeah, trust me. The cat got out of the bag. Now we just need to say, we do best practice for kids. We believe that what we're doing, some of our learning approaches, our style, how we do our instruction, is what's best for kids. You
There's
know?
nothing wrong with being personalized. If
No.
some child needs it, they need it. They shouldn't feel out of place to ask.
But the desk, having a desk or not, that's not personalized learning. It has nothing to do with it. We happen to take the furniture out. And then it gets confused with personalized learning, you know? So what we're about now, the word is flexibility. That's that's where we're at. We're trying to be flexible so that we can best meet the needs of students. There are some students that they love that desk, and we have said to them, absolutely, awesome. Let's get you the best desk we can possibly get. What are you looking for exactly? That's what, the goal is customer service, and if they know that, and that's what works best for them, great. You know, that's like in college, I had a roommate that listened to music, like Metallica, Megadeth, that stuff, just cranked the whole time. I had to go to the library because I couldn't do it, you know? But they, 3.5, that's what worked for them. So I think the goal, honestly, is a higher level of customer service for our kids. So that is the intention of what we do. If you were to talk to a teacher today, the amount of professional development, the amount of hard work they put in to create a model, to personalize that experience for kids, is significantly more work than back in the day of direct instruction. You sit there and I will tell you what you're gonna do and how to do it. You know, it's the truth.
Well,
And Patty's out there. What do you think, Patty, what I'm
I think
saying?
you're covering it very well, Scott.
You know, so if we've hit the wrong target, they need to tell us that and to be very open about it specifically. And remember that it's their child's voice that matters most, not what they think.
Yeah, to me, just the fact of calling it personalized
Watch out.
means if that child wants a desk, he ought to have one.
Yeah. So some of it's a learning experience though too, you know, and if there's changes, kids wanna, here's the great thing. Most of society, as far as our children goes, they're still in that same place where, like us, we just wanted those teachers to be happy. I want the teacher to like me, I want the teacher to be proud of me, or my family to be proud of me. And if they weren't happy about a desk, you know, back in the day, maybe we all didn't feel like we could say anything like that. And now the goal is to empower them so that they feel like, yeah, you know what, I work best in this environment. That's pretty mature. That's a big responsibility.
I look at kids at that age, and I think they need direction from their parents or their elders. So, sure, they want to lay around. I mean, my kids come over by me and they lay on the couch, and they're laying down, they're doing, I said, hey, sit up and, I mean, that was always
Yeah.
the thing, sitting up straight and being able to study was supposedly better for you, to comprehend it. I don't know, but
Actually,
the
saying
casual-
standing for
Okay.
some is actually better.
Okay, but that
Stand a
casual,
percent.
that casual mentality, I think there should be structure in school, and just,
So then in reading, so now what's happening though, is that what's happening is the philosophy is getting mixed in with personalized learning. That's not personalized learning. What it is we have a actual universal model for our literacy called Lucy Calkins. And in Lucy Calkins, in a reading workshop model, we want our kids to be comfortable. And already at a young age, we may have a child reading right down there because the most important thing is that they're reading, not that they're reading hearing. Okay? So that's already, and that is coming out of Teachers College out of New York City, and that, where kids are more casual reading, is not a Mayville thing. That's an all over the state of Wisconsin thing. And you don't get professional development telling you, hey, teach a kid how to go read underneath the cubby. But we absolutely do have sets of books, resources for kids, and we do want them to be comfortable because it's about a reading lifestyle, a reading appetite, not about let's all turn to page 25 of the book and read together anymore. You know, so that's a shift though, but there's a lot of people in that same camp with us. Now, casual does not mean they're laying on top of the table, right? And there needs to be structure. We actually have had some conversations about, there's an article that came out and I sent it out to the team, and it was about innovation, creativity, still working with the limits of structure, something to that extent. Where we are in agreement with you. You still need expectations and you need structure. It's gonna roll a little bit different, though, but there still needs to be norms and rules and expectations. Got a question, can you wear a baseball hat in your house? Can your family, can people wear baseball hats inside the house?
I don't know, I've never thought about it. I mean,
Oh.
you know,
Not
really,
my house.
in the
No,
past
not
years,
either.
Yeah,
the
right?
sign on the table, I mean, out of respect, you take your
Yeah.
hat off, right? That's,
Yeah,
when you honor the flag or what, you take your hat off.
yeah.
Why?
Where is that coming from though?
I don't
There
know.
used to be rules, boom, 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 like we have rules, no hoods on your head in school, you know? You're not supposed to wear a hat in school. They on their way out for recess.
Any public place.
They shouldn't have
It's just a
their own
common
school.
rule.
Yeah.
You don't
They
wear a
shouldn't
hat
have
in
their
a
own
public
school.
place.
Why not?
It's just respect.
Right, I am with you, right?
Mhm.
But I think as you come up, like, is that the norm? So what you're talking about are some of this is societal norms, like, what are societal norms today? I'm with you, take that hat off when you're inside a building. I tell people, and I'm in a building, I see them wear it, that they're their buildings, right? Take your hat off, I tell people, just take the hat off if I see it. So you gotta have eyes constantly watching kids.
So have our children become more respectful in the last few years from what they used to be? Or are we having more issues now in our schools with our kids? Because we don't teach them respect, because we allow them to have too much leeway. I think
Now, that comes from home.
that comes from home. But
That is not in school. That comes from teaching at home.
well, it's, you know,
I mean, we can't teach them everything at school. You
No,
got,
I'm not
that's
saying that.
responsibility of
that's
parents
true.
to teach, to have respect.
That's true, but what happens when you have a whole classroom attacking a substitute teacher, where the teacher is crying, and, you know, where does it, I mean, the whole classroom, somebody starts it and all the kids come in, and that's not just at home, that's children at a certain age saying, you know what's happening, I'm getting involved with this, and they do stupid things, so, they need to know that there's consequences for what they do, no matter where they are. I mean, you can teach them at home, but as you know, children don't always do what they do in front of their parents when they're away from their parents.
So, what you're speaking to is we just met last Wednesday. The pupil services team, the dean of students, and the building administrators, we met last week Wednesday to talk about aligning those expectations, just so you're aware. Okay? And talking about aligning the way the handbooks read when it comes to that. And then starting to create guidelines on when it does not occur the way we want it to. What is that going to look like as a protocol alignment? And what do those consequences look like? So we are doing that this summer.
Yeah, what happens to those kids that do that to that teacher?
Yep.
Do they have any consequences? They
Oh,
have to
yeah.
write 1,000 sentences, like I used to have to do when I,
So we're actually gonna talk about that stuff.
Okay, this is really not the
Okay.
appropriate time to talk about this.
And you can come meet
You
with
can
me.
come and meet, anybody can come meet, yeah. Yeah.
okay, I don't know.
Just, let's connect.
So, let's go on to announcements. Anybody have any announcements?
John, I'd like to share one more thing I
Yeah.
forgot to share. At a previous meeting, Jim, you had asked how many of our seniors were represented at our senior recognition night. And so I went off, and I have that number, and it's 59 students out of the 92 were recognized that night, that past Monday in May.
So 1,040,000, you said that yesterday, Scott?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Darn good.
But, yeah, what did we figure, it's almost 20, average 20,000 per.
And what was the number you cited?
It was 1,045,000.
I think there were 47 students that got some sort of
I thought he just said 57.
scholarships.
Oh.
57,
59.
59
We're
were
recognized.
recognized.
Oh, okay.
Some may have just been for honor cord. and
Oh,
scholarship.
okay. Wow.
Nothing else, this meeting's adjourned.
Sorry.
Just got a little off track.
I got this talking, I started